Good evening, people of the internet. Welcome back to another video where we speak about terrible people. And guess what, people? There's another one. Alright, okay. I understand over the last year or so, Shane Dawson is somebody who has been rightly criticised, absolutely, but I've definitely, and I can admit to this, spoken about the bloke a little bit too much. Sometimes it might be, fair and all, but sometimes you could just be like, Fraser, really? I think there's one too many, and I can completely understand it. And in the last year, really the only times I've spoken about Shane is when I'm kind of laughing at some cringe, whether it's his Christmas movies, his Snapchat. That's basically what I've been keeping it to, because I don't think I really, up until this point, had anything to say. But as I just said, and as you probably just realised, I did just say, up until this point. Because honestly, my friends, today's topic has genuinely confused me. I've seen this and I thought to myself, what? Why have you done this? Shane, why? Seriously, why? Why would you do this? Like, this is very confusing to a point of where I'm like, are you actually a terrible person? Because you may be thinking I'm over-exaggerating, but I'm absolutely, definitely not. And my friends, I think the best thing we can do here is pretty much just avoid all subtleties. I think what we need to do is quickly, without too much detail, go through this directly, fast, and in a few minutes, explain to you what this situation is, and then we'll go through the finer details and explain further, just to give more of an understanding. But basically, I do just kind of need you to know what's happening here pretty directly and pretty quickly, because honestly, it's so bad. Allow me to introduce to you Destery Smith, and you may say, based on that haircut, you know what's coming. I will say, do not say anything about the haircut, because that does probably come under some form of YouTube TOS. But alas, this is Destery Smith, a OG YouTuber, and basically in the last year, in 2021, there was an avalanche of allegations against this person. And I have genuinely never seen so many allegations against an influencer. Like, I cover predators regularly, but my friends, this is just another, a different category. Like, this is insane. Like, an absolute avalanche. I've never seen anything like it. It's genuinely mental, and it makes you think, what? How is this even possible? And it surely can't be a coincidence. And my sweet little dumplings, you may be wondering, well, Fraser, what do these, allegations and YouTubers with long black curly hair have to entail? Well, come on, fellas. I don't think I need to say any more, because I'm saying it every week. It's literally happening every single week. But in this case, it does, relate to a man with 20 million subscribers. We might not be there anymore, but it relates to a man who is very, very popular on the internet, whether you want to deny that or not. Because basically, yeah, Destery was accused of messaging 13-year-olds when he was 20, and also messaging pretty much a bunch of other minors some extremely inappropriate things. And as I've said, this isn't just a one-off scenario. This isn't just like an alt Twitter account coming out being like, oh, I was groomed by your favorite YouTuber, because that does happen every now and again, and usually it does turn out that it is bollocks, because it's a Twitter account with literally no profile picture, no tweets before, and they probably did just not like a YouTuber, and they wanted to get them in trouble. But in this situation, no, there is so many allegations against this guy, signed off by so many people. Basically, there is just a lot. There are videos out there with 500,000 views, hundreds of thousands of views, basically saying that yes, this guy is absolutely horrific. He was also accused and admitted to some things which, are still bad, technically not illegal, but pretty much summarize somebody's character. Pretty much he cheated on his girlfriend multiple times with wonderful DMs, such as dubbing people as his future wife while saying other sexual things, and actually being called out by that in those same DMs, with him following it up with, wait,
if I was single, would you actually let me hit on you?
My God, man. My God, you are like 20 years old. Get a grip of yourself. Get a grip. I know you may be thinking, I'm not taking this seriously, but it's just becoming a bit of a joke at this point. But yeah, as you can see, lots of allegations against this guy. He's pretty much just an absolutely terrible human being. And yeah, I honestly don't think that these allegations can be absolutely a coincidence. In fact, when you just search this guy's names on Twitter, you will usually just find a tweet of somebody being like, oh, there was a time, by the way, where Destery Smith tried to hit on me, tried to DM me when I was this age. And it's just like, I've never seen so many allegations against a human being. It's actually kind of insane how stupid and terrible this person was, and he somehow thought he could get away with it. My friend, my brother in Christ, what is wrong with your brain? And naturally, a lot of you may be thinking, well, given that that was a year ago, what's happened since? Did the man dye his luscious, his luscious locks to another color, move to another country and start up a new life somewhere? Or did he actually come out and defend himself? Because, you know, as much as we can condemn these people and as much as we can say, yes, cheating on your girlfriend is a terrible thing, there were a lot of accusations of illegal crimes. Now, when somebody cheats on their wife, you usually will get a situation like this on YouTube. I don't know if I should laugh, even though I've made multiple videos about the Try Guy situation. It does still make me giggle. I get the old giggles, but it's not a crime, you know? You are a piece of shit if you cheat on somebody, but at least it's not a horrific crime. The things this man was accused of were absolutely terrible, and I think he has the right to come out and defend himself, well, no, he didn't do that.
So first off, I just want to say I am aware of accusations being made against me. And what I can say is, while I can't agree with some of the things being said about me, I'm also not completely innocent in everything. I will say that nothing is completely black and white. There are obviously two sides to every story, and especially the ones that I can personally take accountability for. So what I can and will admit to is that I used to be just a terrible person.
Correction, my friend. You are a terrible person. You are fucking awful. Like, you are really bad. And my friends, we will go through this entire apology video when we go further in depth to things. I'm just kind of trying to get this sweet and short to the point before we go further into everything. But with the actual accusations, the severe criminal allegations against him, he doesn't really address them at all in this. And in fact, the only thing he says is, in my opinion, a complete and clear, obvious admission of guilt. I mean, if the previous thing wasn't, this definitely is. Because when he gets the opportunity to be like, oh, I'm going to clear my name from one of the worst possible, well, if not the worst crime you could ever be accused of, well, he said this.
And with any accusation, normally in an ideal world, you are innocent until proven guilty, but I have only ever seen it to be the opposite. Anyone online is always guilty until proven innocent, and I can't support that idea. And as such, I know that a ton of people have already made up their minds about this situation, and even if I was to explain context of some of the things being said about me, not only would it not help people's image of me, but it would also be dragging someone else's name to the mud. And that is just something I can't do. Even if it exonerates me and everything is great, but it was at the expense of someone else being thrown under the bus, I just won't do it.
Mate, you're not being accused of something small here. It's not like you've gone down to your flatmate's kitchen and, you know, you've stolen his cheesy nachos and you've got cheesy nacho fingers. It's not like that's what you're being accused of. You're being accused of diddling kids. Like, what? What is this response? Well, I know what this response is. I need to be serious. Why he's saying this is because he's trying to be the morality police. He's trying to appear like, I am the bigger person. I'm the guy here who's going to actually take the moral high ground. No. You're being accused of diddling children. Like, you are being accused of a crime which could send you to jail for 20 plus years. Well, it should be life, or maybe more. You know, can't really say that legally. But you're being accused of something terrible. There are no moral fucking high grounds here. You need to be the moral one in this situation and prove that those things don't exist. Because I don't want these things to have happened. But by you saying what you're saying here, you make me think, oh, no, this is absolutely, definitely 100% true. And it's not really a case of, it's all a complete coincidence that there are like 50 million allegations against you. It's all absolutely, completely fucking utterly true. Now, in my personal opinion, I absolutely do believe the victims in this situation. Now, maybe is there a false allegation here and there? Maybe, I don't know, but given the fact that this man had the opportunity to defend himself, and he said that he isn't going to drag other people's names through the mud, but also said that it wouldn't help his image, mate, you are in my legal F says, in my opinion, a dirty fucking nonce. You are truly an awful person. And I really recommend you get a haircut and move to another country and just like take up another career out of social media because you're done. Yeah, we don't want you here. Like if you're not going to jail for these crimes, again, I have to say they haven't technically been proven. But given this defense, I mean, what am I meant to say here? Like, he had the opportunity to defend himself. This has been going on for a year, but it just seems that he caved. He pretty much admitted to it by saying that it wouldn't help his image if he did try and discredit them. But also, he just continued to keep posting and ignored everything despite so many more allegations coming out. So yes, I believe these things, and that makes me think this guy shouldn't be on social media. Because as I was saying, if you're not going to jail for these awful things, then at least just don't post on YouTube anymore, because you've had that privilege. You've got to get rid of that. You can't really be posting videos after something like this, because for one, you are a danger. You are a danger on this platform who, in my opinion, is probably still acting how you were acting previously. In this apology, he says things like this.
Because another thing to note is that my brand is sexual jokes. My brand is weird, creepy humor. It's always been that way, and it will probably always be that way. It's just who I am, and that's presumably why you started watching me in the first place.
I mean, to me, this just indicates, hey guys, I'm not actually going to stop doing anything, and this is my excuse. And for that, get off social media. We don't want you here. You are a danger to this platform, and I think you do need to be deplatformed. It's not a slippery slope to kick people like this off YouTube. These people absolutely do not deserve a platform, because they are only going to completely and utterly abuse that platform. I am going to be serious for a second, because this is, despite me losing my mind for this video, an incredibly serious thing. And I think the fact that this man is still regularly posting on the internet, you know, he waited for this whole thing to blow over, he privated his accounts for a while, and now he's back to posting pretending like it's nothing has ever happened. I just don't think that this guy should be allowed to be here. And you may be thinking, well, where does Shane Dawson come into this? Why am I bringing up Shane in this situation? Fuck's sake. Well, you may know this at this point if you're an OG fan of Shane Dawson, which some of you probably are. He's a big guy, you know, he got a lot of subs. You probably know that Destery Smith and Shane Dawson had a previous friendship. You probably know that they did do a few things here and there together. They've known each other for a few years, well, a long time, since like 2008 and 2007. And yeah, they've basically got a previous friendship. But you know, you'd be thinking, well, why does this matter? Like, he didn't know about the allegations at the time during their friendship. And I 100% agree with that. I think absolutely nobody should be criticized for being friends with somebody who turns out to be a terrible person. I think if we did that, so many of us would be in terrible positions and being cancelled by absolutely everybody. And absolutely Shane Dawson should not be criticized for that. And in fact, Shane Dawson would definitely, you know, probably has cut Destery off, given how much Shane's been criticized. You think the first thing he would do is be like, right, I do not want to associate with that guy, and he pretty much avoids him forever, right? That's what he'd do, right? That's what he'd do, guys, right? Right? So basically, my friends, things start to get very, very bad when you see that Shane Dawson himself is platforming, in my opinion, a predator. Again, I have to say in my opinion, because it hasn't legally been proven, but based on everything what we've gone through so far, and we haven't even played some of the allegations from the actual victims themselves, I can only take these things as true, in my opinion. He had the opportunity to defend himself. He did not come out and defend himself. And Shane Dawson took it upon himself to platform this man in recent days. Big announcements. Starting 2023, the podcast will be weekly. The podcast of where they speak about very, very weird conspiracy theories. Theories which go into realms of where I'm thinking this is a bit dodgy, but that's not the problem here. Basically, yeah, they're doing this podcast and he says, "Thank you, Destery Smith, for editing today's podcast. I'm so grateful we met back in 2008, and I'm so excited to work with you. I'm so excited to work with a big old stinking nonce." Well, Shane, what? Yeah, mate, you're having a child. You're having an actual kid. And you're hiring somebody who literally exploits, manipulates, and allegedly grooms children. And now, even if, like, these allegations were somewhat proven to be false, even though they're not, even if they were, and there was a few, you know, oh, who knows what, you know, maybe something's happened, maybe something didn't, there was some context missing out, even I myself would be like, well, I'm still going to fucking stay away. That might sound bad, but if I'm having a kid, I don't want anybody that's got even like a crumb or a little stinking whiff of just the closest to an allegation to do with grooming. That sounds bad, but I'd want to protect my child. And I don't understand the idea of literally hiring somebody like this. He goes on to say he's excited to work with Destery and his new company Triangle Face Productions in 2023. Hope you guys are enjoying the new episode. I'm so excited I might puke in a good way. Or Shane, I'm gonna fucking puke in a bad way. Because what are you doing, mate? What are you doing? I am shocked about this man's downfall. I do not hide the fact that I used to be a fan of Shane, a big fan of Shane. I used to look up to the guy. idolize him, think his videos were absolutely brilliant. And I will stay to this day that I think it's funny that a lot of people do pretend that half of the the majority of the internet didn't love this man's content at one point. We absolutely all did. But given so many things that have happened in the last year or two, it's just gotten to a point of where I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, what is going on? But then there was a slight, fan base remaining on Shane's channel. I get it. That's always going to happen. But even Shane's fans are saying, Shane, this is mental. Like, this is so bad. Why are you doing this? They are commenting saying, mate, this is just going too far. We can't defend you anymore. Isn't this the guy who was inappropriately messaging minors and fans of his, and not like 10 years ago, last year? Yeah, it was that one. Didn't Destery get cancelled for predatory behaviour? If so, this is a big misstep for Shane. It's not a misstep. It's not a misstep because, it's actually just a terrible thing. A misstep is like, oh, I stood in dog shit. Now, Shane certainly has stood in some form of dog shit, but it's like if that dog shit would actually go and then fucking spread dog shit onto everybody else. Because the problem is Destery is somebody known for messaging fans. He also said that the whole thing of his, humor career is joking sexually, which is meant to be some form of excuse for all of these things. And I think that doing something like this, hiring a guy and platforming this guy to 20 million plus people is very, very, very risky, because how do you know this man isn't going to do more terrible things? Because I promise you, a lot of these fans do not know about these allegations. I did not know who Destery Smith was until like a day or two ago, and now even I'm like, how is this possible? So to the people that actually knew about Destery, it must be even more wild. But then you get another comment saying, I love the podcast, but Destery actually talks sexually privately to underage fans, cheated on multiple girls, and is all round a sus person. Yes, messaging underage fans definitely would be a very sus thing to be doing. I can't speak English because of how much this is making me lose my fucking marbles. I get not wanting to let cancel culture get people, but he has actually done weird stuff. Now, Shane's podcast has a lot of like Ryland just being like, oh, cancel culture is really bad, man. I hate all those people that are so overly critical. And I agree, cancel culture can be bad. But cancel culture isn't, guys, I don't think we should have that, guy that has like 60,000 allegations against him on your podcast who could possibly do more danger by taking advantage of your platform of millions of people. That's not cancel culture. That's me saying, Shane Dawson, I don't think that you should be allowing this guy to possibly take advantage of your platform. Like, especially when you are under the amount of limelight you are, the amount of scrutiny, and this is the risk you're pulling. This is the A card. This is the ace in a hole. What is this? Why would you do this? I can't think that it's either you are a fucking idiot or genuinely malicious. I don't usually get this high energy in videos, and this is because I'm so confused. I have people criticizing me. I know I do for speaking about Shane a bit too much. I can get that, everybody's, valid criticisms. I can completely understand that. Everyone has the right to criticize somebody, but there is no way we can actually look away from this and think, oh, there is some possible thing here which can, I don't know, solve the issue. There was a whole year for that, and I think even if there is like something that you've seen, some evidence that you've seen to disprove something, we need to see it. Before you actually start platforming this guy, we need to see it. But also at the same time, it doesn't change the fact that this guy has actually admitted to doing horrible things like cheating. And I know that might not be the worst thing on planet Earth, but it does just show that this guy is a dickhead. And as he said in his video, he is a terrible person. But even when he got the opportunity to defend himself, he said that he couldn't make things look better, and he doesn't want to drag people's names through the mud because he's manipulating his audience into thinking that he has the moral high ground. But in reality, he's terrible, and you are platforming that.
Even if I was to explain context of some of the things being said about me, not only would it not help people's image of me.
If he had a defense, why would they not post a defense? You have been accused of the worst possible thing. If there was a defense, he would have posted it, because I'm sorry, no normal human being wants to be known as a nonce because they don't want to drag people's name through the mud. Drag their name through the mud. You've been accused of something horrific. Do it, man. What are you doing? Because if you don't do it, you're going to get more videos like this, confused and baffled at how you handled this thing. And I'm sorry, you can't even make the disingenuous argument of, oh, maybe Shane didn't know. Mate, I will promise you right now, most YouTubers know when somebody is accused of being a big stinking nonce, because you want to make sure that you you kind of watch your step. You don't want to accidentally collaborate or have some form of interaction with an actual criminal, YouTubers, we know this stuff. We look at this stuff and we watch what goes on in the community, especially when it's a former friend. And I think Shane Dawson, of all people, will know about the Destery allegations. But even then, even in this wild multiverse of where there is a universe where Shane didn't know about this stuff, he now knows. There are comments there right now calling him out from his own dedicated fans saying this is bad. And Shane has posted since then on his community tab. So in my opinion, he is outright ignoring this, which makes it even more confusing. I am genuinely baffled by this. And even if he does come out with something being like, oh, well, we actually know it might not be true, we need to see that before you start platforming it again. Give us something. It's been over a year. There is nothing here to suggest that these things aren't at least somewhat true. And if they're somewhat true, that's enough. As I said, you are having a child. You should not be giving a platform to somebody that actually abuses children. I really, really do not understand this situation. There were a million different YouTube editors out there who could have taken this job. A million different people. You could have gone to a corporate editing company. Something other than this. I don't understand the necessity of Shane Dawson having to work with so many god-awful people. You can make the whole thing of, oh man, I'm an empath. I want people to heal. Fuck that! How many times are we going to keep saying this? I gave so many excuses for this man, and I regret it because I look like such a mug over the years for doing it. But now, man, you just can't keep saying that. I'm sorry, but bad people associate with bad people. And I'm not saying what Shane has done, what this guy has done, but I am saying bad people of all avenues will surround themselves with bad people to make themselves feel better. And I think that's what's going on here. He's seen somebody who was cancelled, and he's thinking, oh, well, I was cancelled too. We're actually in the same boat. That's awful. Stop doing that. I know that's just my assumption, but what am I meant to assume based on everything that we've gone through? But alas, that's actually getting to the main allegations. These TikToks will be long, but please watch them. I want you to hear from the victims themselves in this situation to see what they have experienced, allegedly, I have to say that legally, with Destery Smith. And yeah, this is one of the allegations of many allegations.
So just to confirm, to anyone wondering, when I was 13, I discovered Destery, or I was probably 12, and when I was 13, I started messaging him on Twitter, and he started replying, and we exchanged, like, flirty messages, and then I sent him, like, nudes and stuff, like pictures of my butt, and then I eventually, like, a month later, I think I told him, I feel bad, like, I'm actually only 13 or 14. I think I lied and said I was 14. But still, it doesn't matter if I was 13, 14, or 15. It's fucking disgusting for a 20-year-old man. A 20-year-old man! To receive nudes from a teenage girl. Not an 18-year-old girl. A fucking child. And to offer to fly me out, to stay with him, to have sex with him. I wasn't gonna be there to fucking play Jenga.
There's nothing more I can really say other than, yes, this is disturbing. It's just horrible to hear. And as I said multiple times, this is not the only allegation. It's not a one-off thing. And even if it was, I mean, what am I meant to still look past that because it's just one? But there's an entire hashtag dedicated to this. You can see so many allegations here. It's just insane. I've never seen anything like it. It is an absolute avalanche. There was even a clip from a random video in 2014 of basically these people, journalists, I'm not really sure, going through a list of people who have pretty much been put on this list for having suspicious or illegal activity with fans. And there are even people like Alex Day on this list, but also a certain guy features on that list.
We're going to talk about the creep problem within the YouTube community, within just fandom in general, pervasive in college campuses. This goes really deep. But let's talk about first and foremost how it's affecting the YouTube community, especially because you two were not here. Obviously, you weren't either when we talked about the Sam Pepper controversy, and we really dived into that. If you guys have not seen that video, please take a moment to watch that because I feel like that we addressed some really important issues. And today I want to hear your guys' thoughts on Sandpepper, as well as this master list that has come out, because I guess that it has been more of a problem than people realize unless you're within that community. Perhaps you already know all about it. So here's some people on the list, and I'm not familiar with all of them, so if I say their name wrong, just let me know. There is Tom Milsom, Mike Lombardo, Alex Day, Ed Bland, Destery Smith. And these are people where there are a number of examples and complaints and anonymous video responses that have been posted saying that this happened to me, this happened to me, that happened to me, and people just trying to make it known and speak forward so this can not continue.
Now, I know that's not necessarily like proof of an allegation, but ultimately it's a little bit suspicious that this stuff connects to 2014. There are forum posts in 2014 linking to things said in 2021. Now, there are more in-depth videos about this situation where you can go over everything, and they will be linked in the description of this video. I implore you to go see the man that Shane Dawson is platforming right now. But yeah, there is just so much out there, and here is another example of one of these allegations.
So the YouTuber that I had the very tragic experience with is Destery Smith. Destiny, Cap and Des, whatever you know him by. It was him. Now please keep in mind this did happen to me about 10 years ago when I was 15. I am 25 now, just by how I look. The main things that I can remember was when I was around 13, 14, I was really getting into watching YouTubers and loving YouTubers and just kind of being obsessed with them, as you do when you're a young teenager. So that's how I found Destery, and I would watch all of his YouTube videos, interact with all of his tweets, whatever on social media, and he even inspired me to start making YouTube videos myself, so that was a thing. After a little while, I started getting noticed by him, so he would like my tweets or respond to them, and I don't know what happened, but somehow I ended up getting his Skype and we would start messaging each other on there. At first, there were no red flags. It was kind of fine. I felt like I was becoming friends with this YouTuber that I looked up to and loved, and everything was fine. After a while, he started getting a little bit flirty with me in his messages, saying things like, I really want to hug you, I would kiss you, you know, if I met you in the airport, I would kiss you right away, like things like that. And as a young, impressionable teen, you don't think much of it. But when you are his age at the time, which would have been in his 20s, talking to somebody who is 13, 14 years old, saying these kinds of things, that is so fucking wrong. So things kind of kept going like that for a while, nothing really escalated or anything like that, until my 15th birthday. Being my birthday and all, I was really hoping that I would be able to video call him, since we never did that before, and that is obviously a thing that you can do on Skype. So I remember messaging him saying, hi, it's my 15th birthday, I would really like to video call you, like what do you think about that? And all I remember is him saying, yeah, sure, we can, but only if you do it topless, because I would like to see you topless. After that, my red flags were going off. I was so uncomfortable. I knew that there was something wrong about this deep down. I didn't quite understand the severity of it until I was older. After that, he pretty much ghosted me and never spoke to me again. So that's my story time. Hope you enjoyed it. Side note, I was also messaging Nathan from Destiny on Skype throughout all this happening as well, but he never showed predatory behavior, so this entire story time is just about Destry.
Again, there's nothing more I can really say other than this is just depressing, this is just sad, and my heart genuinely goes out to these victims. It's honestly baffling to me that this man is still posting on YouTube, let alone being platformed by one of the biggest content creators on the platform. He has actually removed his apology now, well, at least unlisted it. Back when dislikes were a thing on YouTube, he immediately turned off the dislikes on this thing. He turned off the comments. There was no room for discourse. There was no room for potential victims to comment on the video saying this, and all a bunch of other things to contradict the guy. And that to me shouts complete and utter guilt. As I said, he privated his social medias when these allegations were coming out. He also removed millions of videos, which to me indicates he was trying to hide certain pieces of information. This guy, in my opinion, is guilty of a lot of terrible things, and I just think the absolute risk of putting him on your platform when you have millions of children watching you, Shane Dawson, is an incredibly irresponsible thing to do. In the last year, the only time he's actually spoken about allegations is when he actually tried to use Johnny Depp as a way to get out of the allegations surrounding him. Ah, yes, the Onision tactic. I mean, I'm really glad you're following the fucking books and traits of Onision, the moral king of YouTube. Well done, buddy. I mean, to be honest with you, you fucking suit each other. Get married, have a little kiss, and fucking fuck off from YouTube, because we don't want your hair. And also, with these accusations, there is another very important piece to the puzzle of the fact that this guy, Destery Smith's best friend or close friend of 14 years that he created content with made a video explaining why he no longer associates with this person, and pretty much in that video says that yes, he does not want to associate with Destery because of how terrible he is in regards to all of these allegations and everything surrounding Destery. And I just think when a best friend of 14 years who knew this guy before social media is coming out and saying, you know what, boys, even I can't be friends with him, I think that is very, very telling about somebody's character. But I do think it's time for us to actually take a full look at this apology. Just a quick brief going through of everything. We've gone through little parts of it, but just a little raw reaction I think is what we really need here. So yeah, let's get into probably the worst apology ever made by a content creator, who by the way is now being platformed by somebody with 20 million subscribers.
So I took some time away from the internet to try to assess how to handle everything going on right now, in the hopes that what I say will reach an actual audience and not just people that want to see me fall.
I'm sorry, mate, but if you actually are what you are being accused of, then we want you to fall. I want you to fucking crumble, but I don't know if I can really express how badly I want you to fall. I want you to go to jail. I want you to lose everything. I don't want you to be successful. I want you to be fucked financially. I want you to lose your friends, family. I want you to go to prison and suffer for your crimes. That's what I want. It's not cancel culture. It is consequences for your horrible, horrible actions.
So first off, I just want to say I am aware of accusations being made against me. And what I can say is, while I can't agree with some of the things being said about me, I'm also not completely innocent in everything. I will say that nothing is completely black and white. There are obviously two sides to every story, and especially the ones that I can personally take accountability for. So what I can and will admit to is that I used to be just a terrible person.
Shut up. Oh my God. This is so already insufferable. You are, I've seen this apology already. This is just me reacting to it again raw. And my God, it just feels and oozes with manipulation. I used to be a terrible person. If you have done those things, you are a terrible person. Your actions aren't just, I did that thing and we moved away from it. Your actions involving grooming minor, anyone who does that will affect these people for the rest of their lives. Grooming is something which I think doesn't get kind of explained to the extent it should be. People now use that phrase for absolutely everything. Grooming is a deeply methodical process. It's a process of one of the most manipulative forms of people doing it to manipulate and abuse people into getting what they want from minors. It is something which is psychological. It is something so truly bad that it can affect and probably will affect so many victims of it for the rest of their lives. So you are always going to be a terrible person if you have done that. Always. It's not I was a terrible person then. It's now. It's irredeemable. It's irreversible. You did that, and you have probably damaged people's lives for the rest of their life.
I was a big piece of shit. I have been very vocal about the fact that I was a big piece of shit. It has never been something that I've ever tried to hide. In fact, my mom will be the first person to tell you that I was a terrible person. I was a liar, a cheater. I was a giant man whore in my past. I tried to see.
If your mom is calling you a terrible person, how fucking awful are you? Now, I understand a lot of you probably have mommy issues and stuff, but just to come in a video where you're being accused of, all the worst possible things known to mankind, and you're like, oh yeah, even my mum thinks I'm a piece of shit. Bro, Jeffrey Dahmer's dad even had empathy for Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, parents usually in these horrible situations, I guess it's like a parent-child bond. They want their child to be their sweet little baby still. They want that, even though it's not the case. They still want that, and they will look past horrible actions. But if your mum is calling you a terrible person, and you're bringing that up in a video to do with grooming, my God, my brother, what am I meant to take from this? If I think you're a terrible person and your mum thinks you're a terrible person, what are we going to come to some group collective with here? That you're probably a awful, awful person.
I tried to see multiple women at the same time. A terrible friend? Absolutely. But do I think I'm any of those things anymore? No, I really don't. Am I any of the other things that people are saying about me? Absolutely not. However, I am constantly sorry about the person that I was, and I'm constantly saying sorry for the person that I was, constantly trying to distance myself from the person that I used to be even 5 years ago. And truthfully, I think I've come a long way. I mean, depending on how long you've watched me.
Now that is like the only like kind of, I guess, rejection of the allegations. It's just, no, I'm not those things I've been accused of. He doesn't necessarily name those things, probably because he doesn't want his audience to know what he's actually referring to. It's very subtle. If you watch this video and you know about a situation, you will think what he's referring to is all of the allegations that we've been speaking about. But if you're somebody that doesn't know about this situation, you don't know what he's referring to here. It could be anything. It could be, I don't know, he sold NFTs or something like that. People get accused and cancelled for the smallest of things nowadays. So it could be absolutely anything. And because so many people now reject cancel culture, which in most parts is fine, but because so many people have influences in their mind who do bad things, telling them constantly that cancel culture is bad, people will then be like, oh, yeah, this is just cancel culture being cancel culture. The reason for that is so they can get away with terrible things like this when they actually get called out for it.
Whatever I was, I'm not that person anymore. That said, I am still human. Those aren't the last mistakes I'll ever make. And if there's anything I ever do that's shitty, that irks you, or I make you uncomfortable, or you think that I step over the line, communicate that with me. Let me know these things. Because another thing to note is that my brand is sexual jokes. My brand is weird, creepy humor. It's always been that way, and it will probably always be that way. It's just who I am, and that's presumably why you started watching me in the first place. But I would still like to be told when something I do crosses a boundary, whether that be something I say in a video or something that is proven to be true about me as a person.
At this point of time, he turned off his comments. They're still off. The video is now not public. You now have dislikes and likes turned off. When you released the video, so your social medias were not public. They were privated. You don't want communication. You absolutely want the complete opposite of that. And that's why you've deleted this video or it's unlisted on your channel. There is absolutely no way in mankind that you want communication. And in fact, when people have communicated with you, you've literally blocked them. You're a liar and a manipulator. Grow up and get off this platform.
My brand is sexual jokes. My brand is weird, creepy humor.
And here comes the whole, I guess, like excuses. He's kind of building up to when he actually gets to the, will I respond to everything, seemingly and accordingly. It's, my brand is sexually messaging Than. Mate, no, it's fucking not. When somebody tells a joke in a video, you know it's a joke. But you saying things like this, even if it is even if this is just the cheating aspect, which is still terrible, even if it is just the cheating thing, you know that this is bad, this is wrong, and this is definitely not a joke. You literally were making the jokes and you said, oh, but would you actually let me hit on you if I was single? Mate, there's no jokes here. This is just fucking bullshit. You're hiding behind a little facade of ironic humor. It's not ironic humor, you just suck.
Is weird, creepy humor. It's always been that way, and it will probably always be that way. It's just who I am, and that's presumably why you started watching me in the first place.
I like that he's like, no, I'm actually gonna continue fucking doing this, boys. I'm gonna continue going. And before he was like, oh yeah, let me know if I do anything bad. It's like, mate, you are like 54 years old. You should be responsible for your own actions. It's not like if big Jimmy Savile comes back from the dead, rises up, it's like Black Ops Zombies 5 or something. Jimmy's back and he says, boys, if I do anything bad, just let me know. It's like, Jimmy, no, we know you've done horrible things. Just like we know you've done horrible things. It's not like I'm going to let you know. I'm going to let you know if you do a little bad thing. It's like, no, you are fucking terrible, mate. And that's not my responsibility to stop you from doing it in the future. Well, actually, it kind of is. That's what I'm doing it right now. But it's not your Than's responsibility. It's no one's responsibility other than yourself to not cheat on your girlfriends, not, allegedly diddle kids. It's no one's responsibility other than yourself.
Online is always guilty until proven innocent. And I can't support that idea. And as such, I know that a ton of people have already made up their minds about this situation. And even if I was to explain context of some of the things being said about me, not only would it not help people's image of me.
So if it's not going to help your image, then why are you saying it? Like you're saying, guilty until proven innocent. It's like, mate, if you can prove your innocence, fucking prove it. You're not being accused of doing something, as I said, you're not being accused of stealing your flatmate's food or something. You're being accused of the worst crime. Just prove it to be wrong. It's not a moral high ground thing. And this is the manipulation, which I know I've already said this, but we're going for it. We need to say it again. It's the manipulation process of I'm going to pretend to be the good guy here, even though I'm not, and even though I can't actually prove that. And I've had like a year to prove that, and I can't. But I'm going to try and convince the remainder of my brain dead audience that I actually am the good guy and everybody else is the bad guy.
But it would also be dragging someone else's name through the mud. And that is just something I can't do. Even if it exonerates me and everything is great, but it was at the expense of someone else being thrown under the bus, I just won't do it.
Oh, you're such a good bloke. You're so nice. Let's give me a kiss. Just give me a smooch. Lay one on me. Lay one on me, because you're fucking lovely, aren't you? You are awful. Why? Even if it exonerates me, I don't want to drag somebody through. You are making like Jeffree Star's apology videos look good. That's how insane this is. This is immaculate to be the worst possible thing. Like, Onision looks like a pretty decent bloke now, after seeing this. Like, that's how bad this is, my friend. Delete this apology. I was saying make it public, delete it. And delete the channel.
Just know that I will continue to distance myself from the piece of shit that I used to be. I have been, and I will continue to strive every day to be the best version of myself. And as I said, if I ever slip up or you feel like I fail, communicate that with me. Also, really quick, I do want to say I disabled comments on this video.
I didn't even edit that. That seems like it's like a little meme. It's like, communicate with me. Also, I disabled comments, guys. It's like, mate, how are we meant to communicate it with you then? When you're blocking us, you're disabling comments. What are we meant to do? It's bullshit. It's all bullshit. This is one of the worst apologies, if not the worst apology I've ever seen, and Shane Dawson is platforming this guy. But be sure, if Shane actually does respond to this, and he probably has at the time of releasing this video, be sure it'll be like, I'm so sorry guys, I didn't mean to do this. I didn't mean to do this, guys. I'm really sorry. I didn't know about Destery. It's like, mate, you should have known. You should have done the research. How do we know that something bad hasn't happened during the time of you platforming this guy? And even so, the fact that you've been associating with this guy, even in private, is terrible. If somebody you're friends with is a nonce, cut them off. Simple as. I don't care if they're your best friend, they're a nonce. You shouldn't be friends with a nonce. Simple as. I'm not just referring to Destery, who's been accused of it. I'm referring to anyone in any situation even like this. Do not be friends with these criminals, because it only enables them, it only allows them to get further and, possibly exploit more people out there and do more damage. Your friendship enables these people, but also putting them on your platform with 20 million plus people, that's also really bad. Shane Dawson, whilst being cancelled, still gets millions of views. He's still loved and definitely has young fans who don't know about Destery's previous actions. So please, for the love of God, spread the word so we can't harm more people. And I'm not just saying that to get views on this situation. You don't have to go directly spread this video. You can make your own videos. You can make your own tweets. Get this situation out there in either way, though, however you want to do it. Just let people know. Even if you don't want to attach my face to it, I completely understand if you are a Shane Dawson fan. This should not be allowed. This is wrong. This is one of the probably honestly the most worst thing that Shane's done. I think this actually is in the worst thing he's done in like the last 2 years or 3 years. This is actually shocking and surprising. I don't actually get this amped up in videos usually, but this is insane. Like fucking mental. Why, Shane? Why would you do this? I can only think you're malicious. Like before, maybe it was like, oh, you might be stupid. You might just be a little bit egotistical. But now it's like, no, this is actually a bad thing. And as I said, bad people hang out with bad people. And I'm just going to end the video by saying, wow, how did it get to this point? I don't really know. It's almost weird to think that I was such a fan of this guy, but yeah, I'm going to end the video there. Sorry if this was a bit serious. It's a bit annoying to see these things keep happening and allowed to keep happening, especially by somebody like Shane Dawson, who has such a bad reputation as it is. It's even more shocking. But alas, thanks for watching this video. Please like it. Please comment it, because there's going to be some fucking deranged nut jobs in these comment sections being like, oh, you're speaking too much about Shane. I don't care. This is my channel, and I will speak about the man as much as I want to, because it is commentary. I'm speaking about topics on the internet, and I want to get this information out there. And even if I was just taking the piss out of a cringy YouTube video, I'm still going to do it, because it's my channel, and I want to laugh at things that I find funny and cringe. And if you've got a problem with that, just, you don't have to watch it. You can criticize it all you want, but I'm going to continue doing it because I enjoy doing it. And I also think information like this is very important to get out there. So please like this video, comment your opinions down below. Genuinely would love to know them, and also just get the message out there. Cheers. Have a cracking day, and we'll probably be speaking about something a bit more positive in the next video. Probably Ollie London just being Ollie London, something like that. Have a nice day. Peace out, and